Chosen one. Something in the air feels different tonight. The clock edges toward the final hours of August, yet time itself feels heavier, like heaven has pressed its finger upon the second hand, slowing everything for one last warning. You can feel it in your spirit, that strange stillness before the divine moves. It is not fear, it is foretelling. All month, your soul has been restless. You felt the invisible pressure, the tightening of unseen threads. The world called it exhaustion, coincidence, or mood. But heaven has been whispering, prepare. There is a sudden spiritual lockdown ahead, not of buildings or borders, but of hearts, of access, of revelation. A time when the word will not flow as freely, and only those who stored it in secret will still hear clearly when the silence descends. You were chosen to sense it before others. You've always known there was something unusual about the way your heart feels, the shifts of heaven. When others sleep, you stay awake under the quiet pull of conviction. That's not overthinking, that's being marked. The Spirit doesn't give early warnings to the indifferent, it gives them to the chosen. There's a story I must tell you. There was a man named Eliah, quiet and faithful. All year, he worked tirelessly, praying without applause, fasting when no one saw. But near the end of one August, the Lord told him in a whisper, "Go home early tonight." He obeyed without understanding. Hours later, a great storm swept through the city, silencing power, movement, and communication. For 3 days, he was locked inside his home, but in that stillness, he heard the voice of God more clearly than ever before. The lockdown didn't trap him, it trained him. Chosen one. You are Elior now. Heaven is about to pull you aside. The noise of the world will fade, not to punish you, but to prepare you. The coming silence is not abandonment, it's an invitation. When every other sound is removed, what remains is the voice that has always guided you. Imagine yourself standing in a great cathedral as the last candle burns low, the air thick with incense, the floor trembling faintly beneath your feet. Every whisper becomes sacred. That is the posture heaven asks of you in these final hours: reverent stillness, focused hearing. The lockdown will not be external first. It will begin in the heart, where God shuts the door on distractions and opens the window of revelation. It is written in the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11. The days are coming, declares the sovereign Lord, when I will send a famine, not of food or water, but of hearing God's word. You feel the weight of that, don't you? The famine is not bread but word. The silence is not absence but testing. God is watching. Who will seek him when the noise stops? Many have learned to follow the rhythm of religion, but few have learned to follow the whisper of revelation. The chosen will thrive in silence because they carry the word within. If lately it feels like your prayers echo back empty, don't mistake the pause for distance. Heaven often grows quiet, right before it speaks, the loudest. You are standing in that in-between where the world grows still so that faith can breathe. The Spirit is aligning you, setting you apart, preparing you for the moment when others panic and you remain anchored. Picture a lighthouse on a black sea. Waves crash, winds howl, yet the tower stands unmoved, its beams sweeping through the chaos. That is you. Others will lose signal when the lockdown comes, but you will be light. The silence will not consume you, it will confirm you. So tonight, stop scrolling. Lift your eyes from the noise of the crowd. Let your heart say, I am ready. If this message stirs something deep within you, don't ignore it. Let your agreement be simple. Prophetic. Numeric 777, a silent sign that heaven's warning has reached its mark. And before you leave, take one act of obedience. Share this word, not out of fear, but out of faith that someone else needs the same alert before the midnight hour strikes. Subscribe to stay within the flow, not for numbers, but to remain near the sound of direction. Because when the lockdown begins, those connected to the right frequency will not be lost, they will be led. The final hours of August are not an ending, they are a summons. Heaven is calling its chosen into stillness before the storm, sealing hearts before the shaking. And when the world wonders what happened, you will know you were warned, and you were ready. The atmosphere carries weight now. The days feel shorter, and even sunlight seems subdued, as if creation itself knows what approaches. You notice the rhythm of life slowing, not out of fatigue, but anticipation. Heaven is adjusting the tempo, pulling you into alignment with its prophetic pulse. Every strange interruption in August suddenly makes sense. The delayed plans, the unexpected silences, the inner tension that kept you awake at night, none of it was random. You were walking through divine calibration. Heaven has been fine-tuning your spirit, like a musician preparing an instrument before a sacred performance. The melody of your next season cannot begin out of tune. There's a hidden order beneath the apparent chaos. God has been moving pieces quietly, unseen. The discomfort you've felt is not punishment. It's the rearranging of purpose. The divine pulse of this month beats with urgency because something has reached its appointed time. Every prophecy ripens in its own season. And now the fruit of warning hangs heavy on the branch. You can almost hear it, the hum beneath the surface of daily life. The way spiritual currents shift when heaven draws close. There's an ancient rhythm that only the sensitive can feel. A trembling in the soul that says, something is about to unfold. That's the pulse of August. The earth is preparing for a divine intervention, and you have been chosen to perceive it before it manifests. There was once a man named Cale who served in a small mountain village. Every year, the people gathered for harvest at the same time, but one summer, Cale sensed an unusual stirring inside. He couldn't explain it, only that heaven was moving differently. Instead of joining the festival, he withdrew to pray. His friends mocked him. The season is normal, they said. But days later, an early frost swept down unexpectedly, destroying much of the crop. The only seeds that survived were those Cale had stored away in secret. His discernment didn't just save his harvest, it preserved the hope of his people. The story of Cale mirrors yours. The Spirit is training you to trust the inner signal over outer approval. When heaven begins to shift seasons, those who depend on sight will stumble, but those who live by the pulse will stand firm. You may not understand every delay, every closed door, or every lost connection, but they are all aligning you with the rhythm of divine timing. Think of it like standing on the shore before a great tide. The waters pull back before the wave rises. To the untrained eye, it looks like retreat, but you, chosen one, know better. The pullback is not loss, it's the setup for a surge. This is why August felt like withdrawal. Heaven was drawing back, so it could return in greater force. You've been living in a prophetic pause, When heaven prepares to release something new, it first creates space for it. The silence of this month, the odd emotional weight, the sense that the air itself is holding a secret, it's all part of the same divine preparation. You are standing in the prelude of a revelation. In this stillness, listen deeply. The Spirit is teaching you to recognize divine rhythm over worldly noise. Once you learn that sound, you will never be deceived by imitation. The world moves in panic. Heaven moves in precision. The chosen always feel the difference first. According to what is revealed in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Wait for it, it will come. That is the secret heartbeat of this season, appointed time. The revelation that has been delayed is now nearing fulfillment. The waiting has not been wasted. Every moment of stillness has been storing spiritual strength for what's about to break open. You stand now in the thin space between heaven's whisper and its action. Feel the rhythm slow, deliberate, unstoppable. Don't rush ahead. Don't look back. Simply match your heartbeat to his plant. For when heaven moves, those aligned with its pulse will move effortlessly, while the unprepared will struggle to understand what just changed. The prophetic pulse of August beats on, steady and strong. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where you are meant to be, listening, waiting, and learning the rhythm of God. And when the pulse finally crescendos, you will recognize it instantly, because the rhythm that once shook you will become the rhythm that guides you, steady, fearless, divine, leading you straight into what was promised. The trembling beneath the stillness begins to grow. You sense it under your skin. That deep vibration that has nothing to do with fear, it is awareness. Something unseen is moving under the surface of ordinary life. Heaven's hand is pressing against the foundations of the world, revealing cracks that pride once concealed. You begin to notice the small things changing first. Conversations that feel heavier, dreams that stir warnings instead of comfort. Even the air feels charged, as though creation itself is waiting for orders. The shaking has started not of the earth, but of hearts. It always begins quietly. God never warns through chaos first. He whispers in patterns. The shaking beneath the stillness is his mercy saying, "Wake up before the quake." Every unease, every sudden conviction, every spiritual discomfort you've felt in these days, it's heaven knocking on the door of your spirit, asking if you are still listening. You recall the story of Miriam, a woman who once lived comfortably, self-sufficient and sure of her future. She had everything planned until one night her dreams changed. For 3 nights straight, she saw the same vision, the ground splitting beneath her city, while a radiant hand held her above the chaos. She didn't understand it, but she obeyed the inner call to leave her old pursuits behind and return to prayer. Weeks later, tragedy struck her community, but she was already safe, anchored by the same stillness that once frightened her. What others called disturbance, she called direction. Chosen one, you too are feeling the trembling. It is not destruction, it is distinction. The shaking exposes what is unsteady so that what is eternal can remain. Do not fear the rumbling around you, fear silence within you. For those who ignore the first tremors often collapse when the great wave comes. This shaking is the mercy of God wrapped in motion. It disrupts what should never have been stable. It forces idols to topple before they steal your worship. It reminds you that your faith cannot rest on comfort, but on covenant. When everything moves, only the rooted will endure. There's a hidden beauty in divine disruption. When the soil is broken, air reaches the roots. When the mountain cracks, new rivers find a path. You may not realize it yet, but every shaking in your life is carving space for something purer to flow. Heaven is not dismantling you, it's deepening you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 62, verse 6. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. End of chapter. You hear that declaration echo within you. That's not a verse, it's a vow. A reminder that even when the earth quivers, your foundation is immovable. You were never meant to depend on stability that shifts. The fortress is not around you, it's within you. So when you feel that trembling again spiritually, emotionally, even physically, don't run. Stand still. Whisper, I'm anchored. Because the world needs to see what unwavering looks like when everything else sways. If this word stirs something inside you, comment. Grounded. It's not just a word, it's a witness. Each letter signals to heaven that your roots have found the rock, that no shaking can unseat what faith has built. The shaking is not ending soon, it's intensifying. But that's not bad news for you. Each tremor draws you closer to the core of divine truth. The false will crumble, the shallow will scatter, but you refined, awakened, steady will remain. And when the world asks how you endured, you'll tell them, because I learned to trust the tremor. I learned that the shaking wasn't to destroy me, it was to remind me who my rock has always been. And when the tremor fades, you'll realize it never came to break you. It came to uncover strength buried under years of survival, faith you didn't know you carried, courage you'd forgotten to claim, and peace that only pressure could reveal. Then, as the dust settles, you'll notice clarity rising from the ruins. What once looked like endings now appear as beginnings in disguise. Every door that shut in the shaking was heaven's way of rerouting you toward destiny's corridor. You'll begin to thank the quake that once terrified you, because through every crack, light entered. Through every collapse, truth emerged. The shaking didn't dismantle your faith, it purified it, stripped it of noise, leaving only what was eternal to remain. And when stillness finally returns, you will not crave the past. You'll stand taller, spirit steadier, knowing you've met God, not in comfort, but in collision. That moment of shaking became the proof you were never fragile, you were forged. The world grows quieter, as though heaven has placed its hand upon the mouth of creation. The noise of ambition, chatter, and constant motion begins to fade, replaced by a deep, stretching stillness. You feel it pressing around you, not emptiness, but suspension. It's as if heaven has paused the timeline of the earth to observe who will still reach upward when all motion ceases. You once thought silence meant absence, but now you begin to understand. It is invitation. Heaven's pause is never punishment. It is a test of depth. Many can shout their faith when the choir is loud, but few can whisper, Amen, when the sanctuary goes dark. You are being trained to recognize God, not just in movement, but in stillness. When divine quiet falls, the impatient panic first. They look for new noise to fill the gap screens. Opinions, endless activity, anything to escape the weight of silence. But the chosen learn to stay. They sit in the thick air of waiting until revelation begins to form like dew upon the morning ground. That's where heaven measures the heart, in the long, undistracted silence. You may remember a season like this before those nights when prayer felt like speaking into the wind, when every question returned, unanswered. You called it abandonment, but heaven called it refining. Just as gold is purified by fire, faith is purified by stillness. Without sound, you learn to sense. Without sight, you learn to trust. Silence is not the end of God's voice. It is the sharpening of your hearing. There was once a man named Theon, known for his wisdom. People traveled long distances to seek his counsel. Yet one year, without warning, he withdrew from everyone. He stopped teaching, stopped writing, even stopped speaking for a season. Those who admired him grew disappointed, thinking he had lost his fire. But months later, when he returned, his first words carried a power none had ever heard before. When asked what happened, he said simply, "The Lord taught me in the quiet what I could never learn through applause." All, chosen one. That is the lesson of this divine pause. Heaven's silence is the classroom of transformation. It removes the echo of opinion so you can finally hear the pure tone of truth. Every delay you've faced, every prayer that hasn't yet returned with an answer, none of it is wasted. Silence is not the void, it is the womb. Something sacred is being formed in it. Think of a winter forest. At first glance, it seems lifeless branches bare, soil frozen, birds gone. Yet beneath the frost, roots grow deeper than in any summer. Life is not absent, it's hidden. That is how heaven works in stillness. Growth you cannot see is still growth. Strength you cannot measure is still strength. According to the ancient record in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 26, it is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. End 1. That single line holds the wisdom of centuries. The good is not found in rushing, but in waiting. Quietness is not weakness, it's warfare. Every moment you resist the urge to flee the silence, you are defying the enemy's demand for distraction. You are declaring that your hope doesn't depend on noise to stay alive. This is where heaven's pause meets earth's confusion. The world cannot comprehend stillness because it fears what it might hear if it stopped moving. But you, chosen one, are different. You have learned to stay still without losing faith. You are being positioned as an anchor in a world addicted to motion. Even the angels watch these moments. They record who remains faithful when heaven hides its thunder. Your quiet endurance is more powerful than 1,000 shouted prayers. It tells the unseen realm that your faith is not borrowed from miracles, it's born from trust. So if these days feel slow, if heaven feels distant, don't mistake that feeling for neglect. God's silence often means He's nearer than ever. A sculptor does his finest work in quiet. Heaven is sculpting you the same way. Let your stillness speak. Let your calmness become the sermon that others cannot ignore. While the world panics for answers, you will carry peace that doesn't need explanation. This is the fruit of divine silence, revelation, endurance, and authority. And when heaven finally speaks again, you'll know the sound immediately, because you learned it in the quiet. When His voice returns, it won't startle you. It will sound familiar, like a melody you memorized in the dark. You'll know instantly, silence prepared you. And in that recognition, peace will settle. The waiting won't feel wasted anymore. You'll see it clearly. Heaven paused everything only to restart it through you. The silence begins to tremble again, faintly at first like a heartbeat, returning after a long pause. The divine stillness that wrapped around you starts to pulse with movement, not to break the quiet, but to give it meaning. You sense that something is shifting. Heaven is ready to speak again. This is where many give up. They misinterpret the waiting as failure, not realizing that the silence was never meant to last forever. Every season of stillness carries an appointed awakening, a divine exhale after a long breath held by heaven itself. That moment has come. You stand on the edge of divine motion, where faith that was tested now becomes fuel for flight. You've walked through nights that seemed endless. You've cried without words, prayed without sound, and kept your faith when everything seemed to have stopped moving. But here's the mystery. It was never stillness that held you. It was strength being born in the quiet. The pause was preparation. Think of a cocoon. To the outside world, it looks lifeless, sealed, unmoving. But inside, there's transformation, pressure, reshaping. When the shell breaks, the creature that emerges isn't weaker, it's winged. That's you. Heaven's lockdown was your cocoon. The shaking was your reshaping. And now the Spirit whispers, it's time to stretch. There, you might not notice it yet, but the air has changed. The weight that pressed down on you begins to lift. You can almost feel the unseen warmth of dawn brushing against your spirit. What once felt like confinement now feels like clarity. The divine pause has ended, and purpose starts to hum again beneath your ribs. It is written in the book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 9, "The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former, declares the Lord Almighty. And in this place I will grant peace." End of 4. Those words are not history, they are prophecy, still unfolding. You are the present house. What is being built in you carries greater glory than anything you've known before. The lockdown wasn't loss. It was the blueprint being rewritten. The glory that follows silence will surpass what came before it. In this moment, heaven invites, not commands, not demands, but gently calls your heart to respond. You can feel it, can't you? That pull to say yes to the next step, to open your hands again, to let others see the light forming in your silence. If this message has found a pulse within you, let that acknowledgement move through your spirit like the first note of a song. When you share light, it multiplies. When you extend truth, it strengthens its roots in you. Let your expression, whether a simple gesture, a kit nod, or a silent prayer, become your way of saying to heaven, I understand now. I'm ready. No, there's something sacred about choosing to respond. Not because you're told to, but because you feel it. Just as dawn doesn't force the sun to rise, it simply invites it. The Spirit isn't commanding you to act, it's inviting you to reflect what you've received. Let your like be like a spark on a candle. It may seem small, but it helps the flame spread. Let your share be like releasing a dove from your hands. Trusting it will reach someone searching for peace. Let your subscribe be your decision to remain under the same light, to keep walking beside the fire that first found you. Every touch of response is more than digital, it's spiritual. Each action becomes a ripple on heaven's river, carrying truth further than sight. can reach. The hand you lift might be the torch that guides another through their night. The world measures impact by visibility. Heaven measures it by willingness. The soft light you release by sharing truth might reach someone standing on the very edge of their own silence, waiting for a whisper that says, "You're not forgotten." Nah. So let your heart decide how to respond, whether through word, action, or intention. Let it be born of love, not obligation, because what you give freely in the Spirit always returns, multiplied. And when you do, when your spirit stretches toward heaven's movement again, you'll feel it, the quiet confirmation that the pause is over. The pulse has returned. The silence has done its work. You are not the same. You are ready for what comes next. And in that readiness, heaven will breathe again through you. The same voice that once whispered now roars softly inside, turning obedience into living light. You'll realize then, every pause, every silence, every unseen yes became part of the melody. Heaven was composing through your surrendered heartbeat. The moment the divine movement begins, you feel the air shift again, heavier with meaning. What was once sensed in whispers now manifests around you. The unseen becomes tangible. The warnings you carried all month align like stars into a clear constellation. Heaven is unfolding its plan before your eyes. This is the unveiling, the sudden lockdown revealed. But it's not what the world imagines. It's not a physical barrier, not walls or laws. It's spiritual. You can feel it. Doors that once swung freely now close. Not in cruelty, but correction. The divine is sealing paths to preserve purity, to protect what was planted in your silence. Many will see this season as restriction, but those with discernment, those like you, recognize it as mercy. The lockdown is heaven drawing boundaries around destiny, saying, "Enough has entered, now I seal what is mine." The separation isn't punishment, it's preservation. You might notice relationships fading, opportunities withdrawing, familiar places losing warmth. Don't resist it. The lockdown is not loss, it's divine inventory. Heaven is removing access where alignment no longer exists. Every closed door is a sacred signpost, protected, not rejected. There's a story of a man named Asher. When the world grew loud, he prayed for peace. But when silence came, he prayed for noise. He wanted comfort more than clarity. One night, as he sat in his workshop, the power failed. In total darkness, he stumbled and knocked over a jar of oil. The flame destroyed his tools but spared his life. The next day, he discovered the fire had exposed a crack in the wall, a weak spot that could have collapsed the building. The loss he mourned was the mercy that saved him. So it is with you. The lockdown is heaven's fire burning away what could collapse later. The isolation is insulation. The closed door is protection from ruin. According to the word in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7, "The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him." And those words form your shelter. The world sees shutdown. Heaven sees refuge. You are not locked out. You are locked in with God. When others rush to reopen what heaven has closed, you will rest in the safety of his timing. Inside this divine lockdown, something sacred happens. You begin to hear your spirit again. You notice the texture of time, how peace stretches longer than panic. The things once loud fade to background noise, and truth steps forward with clarity. Freedom isn't found in constant motion, but in surrendered stillness. Heaven doesn't measure you by how fast you move, but by how well you stay. This is a holy retreat, an inward sanctuary carved by divine hands. So when you see doors closing, don't panic. When people leave, don't chase. When plans dissolve, don't mourn. Each loss hides a lesson of grace. The same God who closed the ark before the flood is closing certain things now, not to drown you, but to deliver you. The chosen are never afraid of divine locks, because they know every key rests in God's hand. You are safe in the ceiling. While the world runs, you rest. While others scramble, you are refined. The silence before was your preparation. This lockdown is your separation. The next season will be your revelation. You're walking through heaven's order called cleansed, sealed, and soon to be sent. If these words stir your spirit, confirm it with 444. It isn't superstition, it's symbolism. In heaven's rhythm, 444 mirrors, divine stability, 4 corners of the earth, 4 winds, 4 living creatures crying, holy. It's the architecture of heaven, order within chaos, structure within spirit. When you write 444, let it represent your decision to stand in that symmetry. Faith unmoved, obedience anchored, peace unshakable. Together they form a fortress, invisible but unbreakable. It's not a number typed into air, it's a covenant written in light, a glowing seal pressed into wax, declaring that you belong to the kingdom's order, untouched by confusion, rooted in divine calm. This lockdown is not confinement, it's consecration. When the shaking ends and doors open again, you'll emerge refined, radiant, ready. Heaven closes what cannot contain your next chapter, so that destiny can open where it truly belongs. The ceiling is not the end, it's the mark before movement. The same God who hides you now will soon unveil you in glory. Wait in His safety. Rest in His refuge. For the lockdown is heaven's way of saying, this one is mine. No, the world feels different now. The air carries that strange quiet of places where something has already shifted but hasn't yet been named. You can sense it in conversations that no longer satisfy, in roads that once felt familiar but now seem foreign. It is as though time itself has turned a corner while humanity still walks unaware. You, however, I know the pattern by now. Heaven always moves before the headlines do. The invisible has already changed. The visible will simply catch up. You walk through days that feel ordinary but pulse with extraordinary meaning. The doors closing around you no longer alarm you. They confirm that heaven is still keeping pace with its plan. This is the hour when discernment becomes survival, not fear, not suspicion, but holy awareness. To the untrained, it looks like loss. To the chosen, it feels like alignment. The divine lockdown isn't a pause anymore. It's a refining fire that now begins to test what remains. Heaven is separating substance from shadow, devotion from habit, and purity from performance. When gold is refined, it doesn't argue with the flame. It simply stays inside the heat until every lesser element surrenders. That's the secret of endurance. You've been placed inside the fire, not for punishment, but for polish. Heaven doesn't want to destroy your shine, it wants to reveal it. You may remember the story of Ellen, a woman who used to lead choirs in a large city church. She loved the crowd, the noise, the recognition. But one summer, everything changed. Her position was removed. Her friends stopped calling, and her plans unraveled. For months, she sat alone in a small apartment, unsure of what remained. But in that silence, a new melody began to stir. It wasn't written for stages or spotlights, it was written for her soul. When she finally sang again, her voice carried weight it never had before. She realized heaven had not taken her platform, it had given her authenticity. The testing of hidden ones always looks like loss before it reveals itself as transformation. What you are facing now is not rejection, it is refinement. Heaven is peeling away the excess so that only essence remains. Every time you feel reduced, you are actually being distilled into clarity. It was written in the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." That ancient line becomes your present truth. The testing is not random, it is relational. God is not guessing who you are, He is showing you who you've always been. The fire is not about proving to Him that you are strong, it is about revealing to you that He never left the furnace. In this stage of the divine lockdown, isolation turns into insight. When noise is gone, memory speaks. You begin to see where your heart had been divided, where old loyalties weighed you down. The fire purifies not only actions, but motives. What once seemed like harmless compromise now burns to the touch. You start to crave purity more than comfort, obedience more than applause. There's something sacred about this hidden testing. Heaven does not announce your examination. It simply watches your response. While others seek applause, you are being measured by endurance. The applause of heaven sounds different. It is the quiet affirmation that fills a soul when it refuses to quit. The testing of hidden ones is heaven's way of trusting you with more. Only those who endure silence can carry sound responsibly. Only those who survive obscurity can be trusted with visibility. You cannot carry divine weight without divine weathering. The storm is your certification. So let the refining continue. When you feel the burn of conviction, do not run from it. That heat is proof that heaven still sees you worth shaping. The world chases relief. The chosen chase refinement. Every spark against your soul is forming brilliance. Every tear is polishing something eternal. You will emerge from this season with the calm of one who has walked through fire and found God still faithful. Others will see change on the surface, but you will know it happened beneath the quiet layers of faith. No one saw, but heaven celebrated. Do not despise the testing. The hidden furnace is heaven's forge, where identities are tempered into unbreakable truth. The ones who endure it come out different, steady, gentle, fearless. And you, chosen one, are almost through the fire. When the testing ends, you won't need to prove anything. The glow of endurance will speak louder than explanation. Heaven's lockdown will have done its work. You will not be the same metal that entered the flame. You will be gold, purified by silence, shaped by surrender, and ready for the day the seal breaks open again. The air grows still again. But this stillness is different from the one before. It doesn't feel like waiting, it feels like watching. Heaven's gaze rests heavily on the earth. observing the hearts that have remained steadfast through the testing. You feel it, a quiet awareness that the season of examination is turning into revelation. The hidden ones are being weighed, not in quantity, but in quality. The tests have measured the invisible: motives, integrity, and faithfulness. What heaven sought was not perfection, but perseverance. You have stayed. You did not break when silence deepened, nor did you chase noise when clarity was withheld. That endurance itself is proof of transformation. This is the moment between refining and revealing the still flame before it bursts into brightness. The testing has carved out space within you, and that space is where the presence of God will soon dwell with new intensity. The vessel is ready, shaped by unseen hands. Heaven does not fill what is unformed, it fills what has been hollowed with purpose. Look around. You can sense the subtle shift. Conversations soften, atmospheres change. Even your thoughts feel quieter, more precise. You are beginning to discern truth without strain. The noise that once confused you now feels foreign, unable to enter the purity that testing has built within. This is the reward of refinement, sensitivity. There is a story told among the elders of an old monastery. A young scribe once asked the master, "When will I hear God's voice clearly?" The old man replied, "When the echo of your own voice no longer drowns it." Years passed, filled with silence, copying scriptures by candlelight, sweeping corridors, serving without praise. One night, while lighting lamps, the young scribe finally understood. The stillness was never punishment. It was preparation for perception. Heaven had been speaking all along. He just needed to grow quiet enough to recognize it. Chosen one, you have come to that place. You have learned the art of spiritual hearing. The noise of the crowd no longer commands you. The whispers of heaven guide you instead. You recognize now that revelation is not a lightning bolt, but a gentle unfolding. It is the sound of heaven breathing through your obedience. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 10, "For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul." And that line captures your current state. Wisdom has entered, softly but surely. It is not loud. It is not rushed. It settles like oil over your spirit, soothing what once felt strained. You begin to see life through layers: pain as preparation, delay as design, silence as shaping. What the testing burned away was not love, not purpose, but the excess that once blurred your sight. Now, your vision sharpens. You see where heaven is leading, not in full detail, but in sure direction. A step carries confidence, even without full clarity, because your soul knows the rhythm of divine timing. The testing of the hidden ones has birthed discernment that can't be taught, only lived. You can now recognize imitation from authenticity, urgency from importance, emotion from anointing. These are gifts the untested rarely receive, for they require surrender to silence and fire alike. This inner awareness brings an unexpected calm. You no longer crave validation, because the voice that matters has already spoken quietly, deep within. You move differently now, not seeking light, but carrying it. Your peace becomes your compass, and your obedience becomes your map. And yet, you understand that this new phase also carries weight. Revelation always demands responsibility. Heaven does not reveal merely to satisfy curiosity. It reveals to assign what you have endured privately will soon translate into public purpose. The time in obscurity was never about hiding you. It was about hollowing you so that light could flow without distortion. You may not know it, but heaven is already setting the stage. Circumstances align, doors prepare to open, and faces you've never met will soon recognize something divine resting on you. It's not fame, not power, it's authority. Born from quiet suffering and unwavering faith, the world will call it resilience, but heaven will call it readiness. Because those who have been refined in hiddenness walk with a kind of still power that cannot be shaken. They speak less, but every word carries weight. They act slower, but every step shifts atmosphere. The testing of the hidden ones is ending. What comes next is the unveiling of purpose, the quiet transition from preparation to placement. Heaven's eyes are upon you, not as a test now, but as approval. You have endured what few could. You have stood when surrender seemed easier, and soon, the silence that once wrapped around you will echo with the sound of new beginnings. The refining season is complete. You are ready to be seen. Night stretches long again, but this time you are not afraid of the dark. You've learned that revelation doesn't vanish when the light dims, it deepens. The silence that once tested you has turned into a sanctuary. Now the world around you begins to tremble. The divine shaking that started in secret is echoing through visible things. This is the cry of the half-prepared. You can almost hear it in the spirit, the panic of souls who delayed repentance, who mocked the warnings, who laughed at the idea of divine timing. They now scramble for what cannot be borrowed: oil for their lamps, conviction for their hearts. You watch, not in pride, but in sorrow, because you once stood in their place, hearing a call you didn't understand until obedience became your only lifeline. The atmosphere feels heavy with decisions. Choices, once delayed, now demand answers. Mercy is still present, but she walks slower now. Grace still calls, but her voice grows faint beneath the clamor of distraction. You realize that the sudden lockdown was never about restriction. It was heaven's final invitation before division. You think of an image, 10 lamps glowing in the night. 5 steady, 5 flickering. The same light, the same moment, but only some had oil enough for endurance. It's never about who looks ready, it's about who stayed ready. The cry of the half-prepared shakes you, not because it condemns you, but because it reminds you how precious readiness is. There was once a young man named Siran. He loved God, but only in the easy hours. He prayed when time allowed, worshipped when emotions agreed. When the season of testing came, he found his lamp nearly empty. He tried to borrow faith from others, but faith cannot be lent. It can only be lived. By the time he turned back to the secret place, the door had closed, not from cruelty, but from completion. What was open for so long had finally fulfilled its purpose. Chosen one. The shaking you feel now is that same door moving on its hinges again. It is not closing for you, it is confirming you. You have learned to carry oil that cannot be stolen. You've chosen presence over appearance, devotion over delay. The cry of the half-prepared reminds you what could have been lost if you had ignored the earlier whispers. Scripture says in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 35, "Be dressed ready for service." and keep your lamps burning. That command is both tender and urgent. It's not about fear, it's about faithfulness. The lamp represents your heart, the oil, your intimacy with heaven. The flame itself is revelation, your ability to see when others lose sight. Look closely at this hour. The world runs in panic, trying to refill with what can only be received in stillness. But you have already gathered your oil through silence, obedience, and surrender. While others chase noise, you carry light. This doesn't make you better, it makes you responsible. To hold oil in this hour is to become a vessel for those still searching. When the cry of confusion rises, your calm becomes their signal that grace still lingers. The half-prepared are not your enemies, they are your mission. You will soon see this in motion. Conversations where your peace disrupts panic. Moments where your discernment steadies those unraveling. The same God who tested you in silence will now use your voice to awaken sleepers. If this resonates within you, write, "I stay ready." These 3 words are not performance, they are prophecy. They declare that your flame will not die when the darkness thickens. They mark you as one who refuses to run empty again. The cry of the half-prepared will grow louder, but you will not tremble. You will stand, lamp in hand, eyes steady, heart quiet, because you know the light you carry was not borrowed, it was birthed in fire, and that kind of flame never fades. And when the night deepens, your lamp becomes more than light. It becomes language. Every flicker tells heaven, "I am awake." Every steady glow preaches endurance, louder than any sermon could. You have become the message itself. You'll notice how darkness responds differently to you now. It doesn't attack, it withdraws. Because light birthed through testing carries authority. It doesn't argue, it simply reveals. The very shadows that once frightened you now confirm your transformation. And that's the mystery of readiness. It's not about waiting for dawn, but carrying dawn within you. The prepared no longer ask, "When will light return?" They realize it already burns in their hands. And that realization turns survival into stewardship, waiting into witness. Midnight arrives quietly. No trumpet, no lightning, no grand announcement, just a slow turning of the unseen clock. And with that invisible shift, the divine division begins. It is not the judgment of anger, but the unveiling of alignment. What was once blurred now separates into clear light and deep shadow. Heaven is no longer whispering, it is sorting. You can feel it, not fear, but finality. The air carries a weight that tells the soul, the time for choosing has ended, the time for revealing has begun. Every seed planted in silence now pushes upward. Whether of faith or of pretense, the lockdown has become a line drawn by heaven's own hand. It is strange how quiet separation can be. There are no explosions, no noisy, only a change in atmosphere. The same sun that hardens clay softens wax. And so it is now. The light doesn't move. It simply reveals what substance each heart truly carried. For the faithful, it brings warmth. For the careless, exposure. The line is mercy still, but mercy wearing its final form, clarity. You watch as people you once walked beside now drift in different directions, not through conflict, but by calling. Heaven is arranging its army silently. Those who clung to comfort are gently released. Those who embraced conviction are drawn closer. It's not rejection, it's rearrangement. The kingdom is sorting its builders from its spectators. There's an ancient rhythm to this moment. It echoes the night of Exodus, when doors marked with blood were passed over, and those without were left in darkness. It is not fear that moves you, it's gratitude, because you understand that obedience has become the seal around your threshold. It was written in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 18. Then you will again see the distinction between the righteous and the wicked, those who serve God and those who do not. That distinction is being written in real time now. You see it in hearts, in choices, in peace that stays when chaos rises. Heaven isn't dividing to destroy, it's revealing to redeem. Those who chose surrender are about to shine, not for their perfection, but for their perseverance. The midnight division is not loud, because the faithful do not need fanfare to be found. Their light gives them away. You are one of them, lamp steady, heart steady, gaze lifted. Heaven sees you. And here, in this quiet revelation, a realization dawns. What once felt like loneliness was placement. You weren't left behind, you were set apart. The isolation wasn't punishment, it was positioning for visibility in this hour. Now, as the line forms and the division deepens, you begin to see your purpose clearer than ever before. You carry peace into panic. You become stillness in storms. You embody clarity in confusion. You are, quite literally, heaven's evidence that faith can endure any lockdown, any silence, any shaking. In this hour, there's no demand, no loud call, but there is invitation. When you like, think of it not as approval, but as resonance, a small heartbeat saying, I felt that truth too. When you share, let it be a way of extending light, as though passing a candle in a dark cathedral, one flame awakening another. And when you subscribe, don't see it as following a page, see it as returning to a well, promising your soul will keep drinking from the same river of revelation. These are not digital motions, they are sacred metaphors. Every gesture becomes a ripple in eternity, a sign that light still moves through human hands. Heaven notices even the smallest response, not for its visibility, but for its sincerity. It's beautiful, isn't it? How something as small as a click or a whisper can become a symbolic act of unity between souls across distance and time. In this way, your response becomes worship simple, sincere, unseen yet powerful. For the division that begins tonight isn't meant to isolate you, it's meant to illuminate you. Heaven separates so that the pure can shine without interference. The same fire that divides also defines. The same silence that hid you now reveals you. Soon, dawn will break again. But this time, you'll rise with understanding. You'll know exactly where you stand and why you were called to stand there. The midnight division doesn't end the story. It begins the unveiling of purpose. You are not afraid of this line. You were born for it. Because what divides in darkness reveals in light, and heaven, watching quietly, whispers over you once more. This one belongs to me. No, the line has been drawn, and yet the world remains unaware. People still move, still trade words, still chase after fleeting comforts, not realizing that heaven has shifted the atmosphere around them. You, however, feel it clearly. The silence has changed tone. It's no longer a pause before judgment, but a breath before movement. Heaven is still, but not idle. Angels stand ready. Orders wait to be spoken. You've crossed through the dividing night, carrying the flame that survived. Testing. The air around you feels heavier with purpose. Every step you take seems measured by unseen eyes. It is no longer about survival, it is about stewardship. The oil you preserved during the lockdown is no longer just for light, it's for direction. You are being guided toward assignments that were hidden until now. The stillness before the storm isn't an end, it's the alignment of heaven's army. The world feels eerily calm because something divine is gathering strength. You can sense it. Like pressure building before rainfall. Like clouds pregnant with promise. It's the moment where heaven says, "Wait for my signal." This waiting, though silent, hums with energy. You feel heaven's presence closer now than in the busiest seasons of your life. In earlier days, you sought God through activity, through doing, serving, speaking. But now, after everything has been refined, you find Him more deeply in being in stillness, in breathing, in listening. The absence of motion has become the fullness of awareness. It's like standing on the shore just before a great tide turns. The waves pull back. The sea holds its breath. And you can sense power coiling beneath the surface. That's what this moment is, a gathering of glory. A divine inhale before the exhale of purpose. Heaven is preparing to release what has been restrained, and you are part of that release. The scripture reminds us in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by His love." That quiet love is what fills this stillness. It's not emptiness, it's intimacy. Heaven is not ignoring the earth, it is holding it, steadying it before the surge. The pause is mercy, God ensuring that everything and everyone chosen is securely anchored before the next wave begins. You can feel His quiet joy over you. It's strange. This tenderness in the midst of tension. You realize that divine love doesn't always roar. Sometimes it rests. Sometimes it folds its wings around the faithful and says, "You've done well. Now let me work." The storm that's forming is not against you, it's around you. For purpose, for cleansing, for reordering what's been misplaced. In this stillness before the storm, heaven examines hearts one last time. Who will stand in peace while others panic? Who will listen when the noise returns? You have learned the rhythm. Now you know how to remain calm when the atmosphere begins to shift. The lesson of silence was never about inactivity. It was about learning to stay steady when others scatter. There's a calmness to divine readiness. It doesn't look heroic. It looks quiet, focused, aware. You carry it now, the kind of serenity that unnerves the enemy because it cannot be shaken. You don't need to prove your strength anymore. You simply stand, and heaven's strength flows through you. The world soon will feel what you already sense, a change in spiritual weather. Those attuned to heaven's heartbeat will know where to go, what to say, and when to move. You will be one of them. You won't run ahead of God. You'll move in step with Him. Like the tide following the moon's pull, stillness is your signal now. When others rush to fix what's breaking, you'll know to pause. When others fear silence, you'll recognize it as strategy. For what looks like delay to man is timing to heaven. And when the first winds of change begin to blow, you'll feel no dread, only confirmation. Because deep down, you've learned that storms do not come to destroy the faithful, they come to deliver them. The flood that lifted Noah's Ark destroyed what couldn't last, but carried the obedient into new ground. This stillness before the storm is mercy's final act before movement. You are not forgotten, you are being positioned. You are not hidden, you are being held. The calm that surrounds you is not absence, it is alignment. So, breathe deeply. Let the quiet settle around you like armor. What you sense is heaven preparing to speak again. This time, not as whisper, but as wind. The storm will not harm you. It will reveal you. The silence begins to stir. You can almost hear the faint rustle of angelic wings above the stillness. The low hum of movement preparing to sweep across the earth. The season of refining and waiting is giving way to the season of release. Heaven is about to unlock what it once sealed. You sense it in your spirit before it happens in the world. This is the moment when the remnant rises, the few who endured isolation without resentment, who stayed faithful when comfort disappeared. They are not the loud ones or the visible ones. They are the quiet carriers of light, the ones heaven can trust with new fire. And you, chosen one, are among them. The divine lockdown was never to keep you out. It was to set you apart. When heaven locks a door, it always keeps a key hidden in the heart of those it will later send. You are holding that key now. What was once restriction is becoming release. The same silence that shielded you is now the atmosphere that will announce you. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Those words are not distant prophecy, they are your present reality. You feel them unfolding in your bones. The heaviness of the waiting season starts to lift, replaced by clarity and conviction. What once felt like ashes begins to glow with purpose. Heaven is whispering to your spirit. Stand now. The time to move has come. Oh, when the remnant rises, it does not march with noise, it ascends with presence. The glory that falls upon the chosen is quiet but undeniable. It changes rooms, softens scows, and silences fear without a word. That is how heaven's authority operates, not through performance, but through purity. There is a story told of a woman named Neria. During years of solitude, she studied the scriptures by candlelight, her prayers often feeling unanswered. But one night, she felt a pull to go to the small square of her village. She obeyed. When she began to sing softly, the air shifted. The people who heard her stopped and wept, not knowing why. What they didn't realize was that her song carried the fragrance of years spent in obedience. Heaven's fire had found expression through her surrender. That is what happens when the remnant emerges. They don't try to impress, they simply release what was refined in silence. Their words carry weight because their wounds carry wisdom. Their hands heal because their hearts stayed pure. You are becoming one of those vessels. The unlocking of the remnant is heaven's answer to the world's confusion. Where others see chaos, you will see opportunity to bring peace. Where others mourn endings, you will announce beginnings. The hidden ones are heaven's catalysts awakening, healing, rebuilding in quiet power. And yet, this moment requires humility, for the glory that comes next cannot rest on prideful hands. You are rising, yes, but you are rising under the weight of God's presence. not above it. The anointing you carry is not for display, it's for direction. Heaven releases power only through those who remember the pain that shaped it. So, when you step forward into conversations, decisions, and callings, do it softly. Carry grace the way dawn carries light, effortlessly, steadily, without striving. The world will notice the difference. They will call it talent or timing. But you will know it is simply the evidence of obedience. And if this message resonates within you, if you feel the unlocking even now, write the number 555. It represents divine transition, the movement from grace received to grace released. Each 5 is a rhythm, one for past grace that sustained you, one for present grace that surrounds you, and one for future grace that will carry you forward. When you type 555, let it be your declaration that the lockdown is over inside you. Heaven's hand has turned the key. You are stepping into your next assignment, not with noise, but with knowing. The unlocking of the remnant is not a spectacle. It is a quiet revolution, a spiritual dawn. Heaven has waited for hearts like yours, humbled, refined, and ready to carry the light into places grown cold. And when you move, don't rush. Let your steps echo the rhythm of the one who called you, because what begins now is not performance, it is purpose unfolding. The sealed ones are being sent, and you are among them. The divine lockdown has ended. The door opens, the air shifts, and heaven smiles. You have been prepared for this moment since the silence began. The world begins to stir again. Movement returns, but not as chaos. It comes like the rhythm of breath after long stillness. Heaven has turned the page, and those who endured the silence are now being given instructions for the dawn. You feel it in the weight of your steps, the focus of your mind, the steady pulse of your heart. Everything within you knows this is not the time to dream, it is the time to do. The first rays of new purpose stretch across your spirit like morning light through broken clouds. The path ahead is not loud or crowded. It is narrow, gleaming faintly with clarity. Heaven has begun to issue marching orders, and you, chosen one, are among the first to hear them. The message is simple: move when I move. Not faster, not slower, just in rhythm with divine timing. The months of stillness were training for this discipline. You learned to listen before acting, to breathe before building. Now, every decision feels sacred, every step measured. What once felt like delay now feels like direction. You begin to understand that divine calling is not a career, not a title, not even a visible assignment. It is a conversation. Each day begins with a question whispered from heaven: will you trust me today? And your obedience becomes the answer. There was a man named Darian who once prayed for purpose. He expected thunder, a voice, a sign. But instead, God gave him small daily nudges. Visit this person. Pray for that stranger. Give quietly where no one sees. Years later, Darian realized those small steps had built something larger than ambition, a life aligned with heaven's heartbeat. His calling was not in one grand event, but in 1,000 unseen obediences. That's the kind of purpose unfolding for you now. Heaven is not asking for spectacle, it's asking for consistency. The same faith that carried you through silence will carry you through movement. You don't need to run, you only need to keep pace. It is recorded in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That promise hums beneath your ribs now. It tells you that movement does not mean abandonment. God goes with you into every step, every conversation, every unseen act. The one who tested you in quiet will travel with you in calling. Marching orders always come with both direction and tension. For as you move, resistance will rise. You'll notice the subtle opposition, not always loud or direct, but enough to test your resolve. Distraction will disguise itself as opportunity. Comfort will whisper, "Haven't you done enough?" But deep within, the Spirit reminds you that obedience is not complete until the mission is. This is where faith matures, not in emotion, but in endurance. It's one thing to survive silence, it's another to steward motion. You are learning how to move without losing peace, how to speak without losing humility, how to build without forgetting who gave the blueprint. The journey ahead won't demand perfection, it will require attention. You'll find that divine direction often feels like intuition sharpened by holiness. It won't shout, it will nudge. The same quiet that once tested you will now guide you. As dawn expands, so does your understanding of purpose. It isn't about where you end up, it's about how you walk along the way. Heaven values posture over progress, intention over outcome. Every obedient step is recorded. Every silent yes echoed in eternity. You may not yet see the full landscape of what's ahead, but that's how divine journeys begin, under partial light. The clarity will come as you move. Heaven's map unfolds in motion, one obedient step at a time. And as you go, something beautiful begins to happen. Your confidence transforms from noise into knowing. You no longer ask, "Am I enough?" Because you've already seen who walks beside you. The same God who spoke stars into order now whispers direction into your spirit. Marching orders are never just about movement, they are about becoming. Every step taken in faith reshapes you into someone steadier, humbler, more radiant. You are not just following a path, you are becoming the path. Others will one day follow. So walk forward, even if slowly. The dawn doesn't demand speed, it requires presence. Each footprint you leave glows faintly behind you, a testimony that faith walked here first. The silence has given way to song. The waiting has turned into walking. And heaven, smiling quietly, watches. You take your first steady steps into destiny. The road stretches before you, quiet but alive. It winds through valleys, still shrouded in mist, through places that seem uncertain but strangely peaceful. Every sound feels amplified. Now, the crunch of your steps, the breath of wind through unseen trees. The world feels cleaner, sharper, as though the very air has been washed by the storm that passed. You carry no banner, no sign to announce your purpose. The season of shouting is over. What defines you now is present steady, unshakable, grounded. There is a deep calm within you that wasn't there before. The kind born only through refining. You've walked through silence, endured separation, survived shaking, and now you walk as one who no longer needs to prove anything. Heaven doesn't call you to make noise. It calls you to make impact. The difference is subtle but sacred. Noise demands attention. Impact transforms quietly. You've learned that the most powerful movements of God rarely come with spectacle. They come through surrendered hearts that act faithfully without applause. As you walk, you notice signs of restoration around you. The soil that was once dry begins to soften. The air carries the scent of rain. But it's not the storm's rain, it's renewal's rain. The places that once looked barren begin to show tender green shoots, small but resilient. This is what heaven's aftermath looks like. Life emerging quietly where devastation once lingered. You think of the days when all seemed still, when you wondered if you would ever see color again. Now, color returns, subtle hues first, then vibrant ones. Hope is painting over what despair once claimed. And with that hope comes responsibility. For the remnant who rise after the shaking are called to rebuild what others thought was lost. Rebuilding doesn't always mean starting new. Sometimes it means redeeming what remains. Heaven's design is restoration, not replacement. You'll begin to notice opportunities to mend relationships once fractured, communities once broken, dreams once buried. You won't rush to fix them, you'll listen first. Because now you understand that true healing doesn't come through haste, but through holiness. There was a craftsman once, named Oren, who rebuilt broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, he filled them, turning each fracture into a line of light. The vessels he restored became more valuable than before they broke. You are doing the same, though in spirit. Every scar, every wound, every loss is becoming a golden seam, evidence of redemption rather than ruin. It is written in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Lem. Those words echo through your spirit like a gentle promise. Restoration is not a theory, it's a process already at work in you. Every prayer that once felt unanswered was a seed buried deep, waiting for the right rain. And now, one by one, they begin to sprout. The restoration God performs is never mere recovery. It's renewal with increase. What was lost returns stronger. What broke returns beautiful. Even your voice carries more authority now, not because it's louder, but because it's honest. It has known pain and peace, silence and sound, defeat and deliverance. That duality makes it trustworthy. As you continue to walk, you realize that this path isn't only about your restoration, it's about becoming a restorer. Heaven doesn't heal you just to make you whole. It heals you so you can heal others. You will begin to find people along the way whose hearts mirror your former brokenness. You'll recognize the ache in their eyes because you've lived it. And in that recognition, compassion will flow like water. Your words won't sound like sermons. They'll sound like understanding. Your presence alone will comfort, because you carry peace that cannot be fabricated. That is the mark of one who has truly been restored, the ability to bring rest wherever they go. You are walking through the aftermath, but it does not feel like ruins. It feels like rebirth. Heaven's fingerprints mark the soil, and your steps align with its pattern. Every motion feels sacred now, as though even your breathing participates in creation's renewal. The road may still wind, but the destination is certain. You are no longer wandering, you are being woven into God's unfolding story. Each day adds a new thread, shimmering faintly with grace. The light ahead grows warmer. The mist begins to lift, and as you walk, you understand that the rebuilding has already begun, not outside, but within. The new creation starts here. in the quiet chambers of the soul, where heaven has learned to dwell comfortably in you. The rebuilding continues, but now the air feels different, lighter, fragrant, alive with possibility. You sense that something has shifted in heaven's tone. The silence that once disciplined you now delights in you. What began as correction has become celebration. You are stepping into the season of crowning, when endurance is honored and humility is lifted high. You didn't seek this moment, it found you. Every hidden act of obedience, every quiet surrender, every prayer whispered through tears has gathered into a crown unseen by men, but radiant before God. It doesn't glitter with gold or jewels. It glows with faith, proven through fire. You are crowned, not for achievement, but for alignment. This is the paradox of divine reward. Heaven crowns not the loudest, but the loyal. The crown is not placed on the head of the victorious warrior alone. It rests also on the bowed head of the one who refused to quit. You may not even realize it, but your surrender has become your coronation. There was once a woman named Asha. She was never famous, never known beyond her small village, but her heart burned with quiet faith. For years, she prayed for her community when others lost hope. When a flood destroyed her town, she didn't preach. She simply served cooking for the hungry point, helping the broken rebuild. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a neighbor said to her, "When you walk by, peace follows." That was her crown, not a title, not a throne, but the living evidence of God's glory resting on her. You, too, carry that same quiet radiance now. The refining has made you steady. The waiting has made you wise. You no longer crave validation because heaven's approval already marks you. You've learned that true authority is not given to those who demand it. It's entrusted to those who can carry it with grace. It is written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord will award to all who long for him. That promise is no longer distant, it's drawing near. The crown of righteousness is not a distant prize after death, it's a present posture. It is the peace that comes when your heart beats in rhythm with heaven. You wear it now, even if unseen. The world might call it serenity, strength, or resilience, but heaven calls it glory. When others feel the weight of chaos, you radiate calm. When fear rises, you respond with faith. You are proof that holiness and humanity can coexist, that ordinary vessels can carry extraordinary presence. This is the stage when heaven's crowned ones are called to walk among people again, not higher, but deeper. You will find that your words comfort without effort. Your silence carries weight, and your presence becomes sanctuary. You won't need to announce your transformation. The atmosphere will testify for you. And now, as this truth settles into you, let your small acts of response become part of the worship flowing through this moment. When you let it be like lighting a single candle at the altar, a spark of gratitude that joins countless others in a quiet cathedral of agreement. When you share, see it as passing the flame along the pews of a sleeping world. One hand to another until the room begins to glow again. And when you subscribe, let it feel like returning to that same sacred place, a way of saying, I'll keep coming back to the fire that made me whole. End of team. Your gestures are not obligations, they are echoes. Every simple click, Every small movement is like a bell rung softly in the temple of heaven, reminding both you and eternity that you are part of something divine. The digital becomes devotional when done in love, and if you feel stirred to comment, do so as one laying a stone in the foundation of faith. Write what your heart whispers, something simple, something sincere. Each word you release joins a river of testimonies that flow unseen but powerful, carrying light into hidden places. This is not about building a platform, it's about building communion. When you respond, you remind the heavens that faith still breathes through screens, that souls still recognize truth even in the noise. The crowned ones are not meant to stand apart. They are meant to move among, spreading peace in places that forgot its sound. You have become that vessel now, and your quiet radiance is its own language of praise. So walk forward in stillness, crowned not for conquering, but for continuing. Let your light remain gentle, yet unyielding. Heaven's joy rests upon your shoulders. You have endured the night, and now carry dawn in your eyes. And as heaven watches, it smiles, not because you have finished the race perfectly, but because you never stopped running toward the light. The path bends toward gathering. You begin to feel the gentle pull of connection, threads of light stretching across distances, weaving you toward others who endured the same refining fire. It is not coincidence. It is calling. Heaven is gathering its awakened ones. The separated are about to become the assembled. You can almost sense it before it happens, the way your spirit quickens when you cross paths with someone carrying the same quiet strength, the same calm that only silence can teach. There is recognition in the air, a silent exchange that says, "You heard him too." The chosen are finding one another, guided by invisible chords of divine resonance. The gathering isn't grand. It doesn't need stages or headlines. It happens in living rooms, in whispered prayers, in shared moments of understanding that defy explanation. The remnant that heaven refined in private is now converging in purpose. You were not meant to remain isolated. You were meant to become part of a movement of hearts, synchronized to the same heavenly rhythm. The Spirit begins to reveal the design: connection without competition, unity without uniformity, strength built on shared surrender. The gathering of the awakened is not an organization. It is an organism, a living body, breathing the same truth through many forms. It is written in the first letter to Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 12. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its parts form one body, so it is with Christ. That verse becomes alive in you now. You begin to see that the purpose of the lockdown was never isolation, but identification, to recognize your role, your part, your gift. Each chosen one carries something distinct yet necessary: a word, a song, a prayer, a presence. When the body begins to unite, heaven moves through it with power unhindered. There's beauty in this diversity. Some will speak, others will build, some will intercede quietly, while others stand boldly in public spaces. The movement will have no single face because it reflects a single spirit. It will look like harmony, different notes, blending into one melody that sounds like hope. You'll start noticing how effortlessly connections form. A conversation that feels ordinary turns sacred. An encounter with a stranger becomes revelation. The same spirit that trained you in stillness now teaches you to discern alignment. Not everyone will understand, but those who carry the same mark will recognize it instantly. This is the call to gather, not to create a new system, but to embody an ancient order, love that heals, unity that restores, truth that anchors. The gathering of the awakened will not be a rebellion against the world, it will be a revelation within it. Light does not fight darkness, it simply shines until sight returns. There was a time when you thought you would walk alone forever, that your season of isolation meant you were forgotten, but heaven was merely spreading its seeds wider. Each chosen one was planted separately so they could grow deep before growing together. And now, as the soil of the earth softens again, those roots begin to intertwine. You feel that intertwining even now, a strengthening that comes from shared faith. It's the sensation of belonging without striving. You no longer need to prove your place, you simply know it. The body recognizes its own members, and in this recognition, joy quietly awakens. You realize that you were never truly alone, only being aligned for this exact convergence. Every tear you cried in solitude watered the ground for this meeting of hearts. Every quiet prayer you whispered became a bridge between souls. When the awakened gather, the world itself begins to change, not through violence or argument, but through presence. The collective peace of those who carry heaven within becomes a current strong enough to calm storms. And though the gathering is still forming, you sense its purpose clearly: to prepare the earth for renewal. These connections will birth movements of compassion, creativity, and conviction. Heaven's hands are stitching its people together into a tapestry of light that will outlast the chaos of any age. You stand in the middle of this divine weaving, one thread among many, glowing with its own hue, yet perfectly placed in the pattern. The Spirit smiles within you, whispering what you now know by heart: you were never meant to shine alone. And as each thread finds another, the pattern reveals itself brighter, stronger, alive. The tapestry begins to hum with purpose. Heaven's heartbeat woven through every soul that dared to endure. You stand back and see it now, the beauty of unity born from isolation, strength born from surrender. The gathering isn't ending you, it's completing you. The horizon glows faintly with the last light of August. The final hours of this prophetic month unfold, not with noise, but with knowing. The sky feels heavier, alive with quiet meaning, as if heaven itself leans close to watch what the earth will do next. Everything has led to this, every silence, every tremor, every moment of obedience shaped by unseen hands. You stand between what was and what will be. The air tastes like transition, both sweet and sharp. It's the kind of atmosphere where endings and beginnings breathe in the same rhythm. You can feel heaven turning the page. And for the first time, you are not afraid of what comes next. You have learned that divine change never arrives to destroy, it arrives to deliver. The final days of August carry the weight of fulfillment. Prophetic moments often feel ordinary on the surface, but beneath them, entire stories shift. You feel that tension now, the sacred pressure of heaven's new order being birthed through ordinary hearts. The world may call it coincidence, but the chosen recognize it as choreography, every detail aligned by divine design. This last August will not fade like others. It will be remembered as the threshold month, the bridge between hiddenness and release, silence and sound, refining and rain. The world will not mark it in calendars, but heaven has written it in flame. You've walked the path from warning to wisdom, From lockdown to liberation. The trembling beneath the stillness has settled into purpose. The pause that once frightened you has become your rhythm. You no longer resist heaven's timing. You move with it. That alignment is your victory. It was written in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. That promise is the pulse of this moment. The glory that waited beneath all the shaking is beginning to surface. Not around you, but within you. It rises quietly, steady as dawn. The pain of refining now makes sense. It was never punishment. It was preparation. As August exhales its final breath, you can see the pattern clearly. The lockdown separated, the silence refined, the storm realigned, and the stillness restored. Every stage has served a purpose, and every purpose points toward renewal. Heaven never wastes a season, it only multiplies meaning. You begin to understand that endings are not exits, they are entrances disguised. The door that closes behind you seals only what has been completed. Ahead of you stands a gate of light, not built by human hands, but opened by obedience. You do not rush toward it, you approach it with reverence, knowing that the same voice that once whispered, "Wait now," gently says, "Go." Oh, and you go not as who you were, but as who you've become. The chosen no longer walk by fear, but by frequency. Your steps echo the heartbeat of heaven. Now, you move differently because you've been moved deeply. You speak differently because silence has taught your tongue restraint. You love differently because pain has widened your heart's capacity. The world ahead is uncertain, but you carry certainty inside you. That is the difference between the awakened and the unaware. The world looks for signs in the sky. You've learned to look for signs in the spirit. You will not be shaken again, for you know now that even shaking can serve the divine. This final hour of August does not announce destruction, it announces destiny. The heavens do not mourn, they prepare. The earth does not end, it exhales. The chosen rise, not to escape, but to embody light where darkness still lingers. You will go forward quietly, yet every step will thunder in the unseen. Your obedience will speak louder than your voice. You will not need to convince anyone of your calling, your peace will reveal it. The lockdown has ended, but the ceiling remains. The mark of endurance glows faintly upon you. Invisible to the eye, yet undeniable in the spirit. Heaven knows who its chosen are. And when you look back on this month, you'll remember it not for the warnings, but for the wonder. August didn't end your story. It began your unveiling. The sudden lockdown that once confined you became the cocoon that crowned you. The silence that once frightened you became the chamber where your strength was reborn. You walk now beneath a new sky. The stars look closer, almost alive, as though heaven itself applauds the faith that didn't fade. You carry the scent of survival, the radiance of renewal, and the steady grace of one who knows the storm has passed. But the assignment remains. August ends, and you begin again. The story closes, but the calling continues. The final words of this message are not an ending, they are an awakening echo. You've walked through silence, endured fire, and stood in the dividing light. What began as warning has unfolded into witness. You have seen what heaven can do in the life of one who refuses to give up. Now, this message becomes a mirror. When you look into it, you no longer see someone waiting for confirmation. You see someone chosen for continuation. The month may be closing, But your movement has just begun. What you carry now: peace, awareness. Endurance was crafted by divine hands for this exact moment in history. And as this message leaves you, let your small gestures become symbols of remembrance. When you imagine it as placing a candle at the edge of the altar, soft light joining thousands of unseen flames across the world. When you share, see it as extending a spark across oceans and borders, letting this light touch someone standing in their own midnight. When you subscribe, think of it not as routine, but as a return, a quiet promise that you will keep walking with this flow of truth as it unfolds again. And if your heart is moved to speak, comment. Something simple yet sincere. Your words are like stones laid into the foundation of this growing sanctuary, a visible trace of invisible faith. They tell heaven, I was here, I heard, I believe. And let every act be love, not duty. Let every echo be hope, not noise. And when you step away from these words, remember, you are not leaving the presence that found you here. The same light that spoke through them now walks with you. You are ready. You are radiant. You are chosen.